Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 10th episode of Weaving Myths Season 3. Weaving Myths is a podcast focused on tabletop role-playing games, and specifically playing them through the play-by-post format. I'm your host, Nathan, and joining me today are Colin.
Hello, everyone.
Eric.
Good evening.
And Ruben.
It burns!
We are all staff at Mythweavers, one of the largest play-by-post gaming websites in existence, and we're here to help you bring your games to the next level. If you're not familiar with Mythweavers, you can find it at myth-weavers.com. As always, we are joined by the impeccable text chat, which I would like to point out is now actually in the stream. So when you send your messages, you pop up on the screen now. It's super cool.
Nice.
So members of Mythweavers are using that text chat right now to ask questions and contribute to the discussion. We'll see about that. If you too would like to be part of the impeccable text chat, feel free to join us on the Mythweavers Twitch channel at twitch.tv/weavingmyths. This week, we're going to be talking about restarting a stalled game and the related issue of injecting life into a slow game. Also, be sure to stick around until after the game of the episode for some very, very exciting announcements. We have very exciting announcements coming later this episode, so stay tuned. So the first topic on the agenda is restarting a stalled game. So when we say stalled game, what exactly do we mean?
It's only
Generally,
mostly dead.
which is slightly alive.
Colin.
God, I hate both of you.
Look,
Go ahead.
a game that's not yet hit the point of being auto-archived, but the posts are not coming at the rate that kind of progress the story at all.
I would argue you could also revive archived games.
Okay, yeah, I guess you could, but it's a lot
I've done
easier to revive a
I
game
mean-
that isn't archived yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between a stalled game and an archived game. I mean, it's not a very, very thick line. I mean, you can easily...
Wander back and forth.
You can easily restart either one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. A game that hasn't yet been auto-archived, but just slowed down.
But we can talk about that a little bit later when we're talking about the how, because there are some
Yeah.
technical issues that go along with that are unique to our platform.
Mm-hmm.
But so a game that's not performing at the level that makes everyone happy about being in the game. It
So-
ceased to be a game.
So I'll go ahead and throw out the elephant in the room. Why would we want to restart a game that is basically on the verge of death already?
Well, there's a few reasons. One, you really like the concept. You think you have a good story, and just for whatever reason, it kind of stalled upon inception. Maybe you recruited a bunch of players that looked really good, and like 3 of them bailed like a month in, which happens. I've had more than one game die just because players disappeared soon after starting. That's one reason.
The challenge there, the flip side of that, I would think, is you've got a game that ran for a long period of time and everyone like had a lot of fun with it, and then it just kind of petered out for a while. You can't really necessarily guarantee that you're going to recapture the lightning in the bottle, that the magic of that first phase of the game will somehow recreate itself just because it's the same people in the same game with the same characters. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you just already hit the peak of the action, and it's best to just say, okay, let's get a new crew together rather than trying
Well,
to.
and as Tiffany Corda pointed out, sometimes players have to take a break. I, as a GM, sometimes I'm like, look, guys, I'm burned out. I need 3 or 4 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
There's also health stuff, or technical issues. I mean, for any number of reasons, you could kind of have to more or less disappear from the site for weeks.
And I think
A lot
we
of
talked
times-
about in a previous episode dealing with burnout and how to kind of like prevent it for as
Yeah.
long as possible, and then once it does happen, what to do. I forget
taking a
the
break
actual
was one part.
episode that we did that in.
That was in season 1. I
Yeah,
think.
I'm gonna see if I can hunt it down. You guys go ahead and continue.
This is
I was
definitely
in it.
something.
I was in that episode, I do believe.
Yeah, you were.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is something I'm actually dealing with personally right now. We had some things we had to deal with over the last almost 5 months now that have pretty much taken me away from the site, and I've had to keep my games from getting auto archived twice. So that's like 8 weeks of 8 weeks. Or is it longer than that?
It's
12, almost 12 weeks worth of delay. So
Yeah, and I've had similar delays in the recent past.
So, for anyone curious, the episode that we talked about Burnout was Season 1, Episode 9.
Oh man.
nice. We'll
early
put that
days.
link in the archives as well, so that you
Yep.
can cross-reference.
Topics we're scheduled to revisit soon.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, we will be revisiting several topics soon, just because we weren't quite as thorough as we should have been, I think.
Well, one
Well,
of the
no.
challenges was we tried to cram too many topics into one.
Continuously an
Episode.
issue, yes.
Yeah, what we were doing, like 2 or 3 topics.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
least.
2.5 hour episodes. It's not sustainable for us. We were burnt out, so now we're giving
Yeah.
you better quality content in a smaller package.
Yeah.
So another
Better
reason
quality.
I've revived the
The
game.
editor does a great job.
New supplements or materials renewed my interest. Like there's been D&D games where I'm like, oh man, this supplement dropped and it just makes the game so much better. Maybe it's time to bring that one back.
Xanathar's Guide to Everything comes to mind.
Yep. For
Good
me, it
choice.
was to drop Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron.
Yeah, that's a really good one, too.
Oh, Keith's gonna have a new book out soon.
Is he?
Yep, another new one.
Nice.
And there's already more Grave Miscellany.
Yeah, the Seventh Sea second edition reboot was one where I
Oh yeah.
definitely went like, there'd be some more options here that we could pursue.
Man, that was another good Kickstarter. I really got a lot of value out of.
Yep,
Um,
my PDF library is huge.
so that's a lot of the reasons why, right? Can you guys think of
So-
any other more reasons why?
I mean, you haven't finished telling the story yet. I mean, there's sometimes when you took that break, but there was still plenty of action that you had planned. It's not like
Yep.
It's kind of a difference between a pre-planned game where you're either following an adventure path or something where you've laid out kind of the beginning and the end and you're working through the middle, as opposed to a sandbox game where pretty much any point could, in theory, be the end point. You could off ramp at any time. But yeah, definitely, if you haven't finished a pre-programmed adventure and people want that closure, bringing back the game is a good way to achieve that.
Right. Yeah. Nothing sucks more than Storius Interruptus.
Yeah. On the flip side, if you are at that logical stopping point, you
Just
gotta think
start
long
it-
and hard about all the energy that goes into what we're talked about next, which is how to actually bring it back to life.
Well, and another good thing to think about too, when you're asking why, you should also ask yourself, why not a sequel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, as a personal example, my Claremont Academy game ran for, oh man, years.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, it was one of the oldest games on the Leave, and that eventually ended, and I felt like it ended in a decent place. And so then I just did like, oh, time to do the college years. Saved by the Bell, the college years. So I did a sequel instead of just rebooting the old game.
So, I want to, before we go a little bit deeper into this, I want to ask about the other elephant in the room. What are some reasons why we wouldn't want to restart a game?
If it died really quickly, you need to take a big, honest look about why it died quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just not a good concept, or was something else not right about it?
Well, you can have a great concept too and find out you're just not well suited personally to running it.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple systems that I love, but I cannot run for the life of me, and I had to learn the hard way.
I find that happens to me a lot when it's a system I've never run before. So a while back, I had a Dungeon World game, and part of the reason I wasn't really able to follow through with the game is because I didn't know the system well enough. I just hadn't spent enough time learning it and using it.
Right. And you think, hey, it's play by post. I got lots of time. I'll be able to learn it on the fly as I go. That's a tall order for any sort of system, especially if it's going to be kind of crunchy like Dungeon World.
Yep, and that's exactly what I thought. I thought I could be like, oh, it's kind of similar to like Fate, and it's kind of like a smashing together of Fate and D&D. I can learn it, no problem. No, I actually could not.
I had trouble doing that, picking up D&D 5th edition the first time and trying to run it play by post. It's like, I was a 3.5 guy through and through. It can't be that different, right? Wrong. There are enough mechanical differences that you just got to pay attention.
Yep.
So...
the other thing is, did it die because you just weren't interested?
Mm-hmm.
Did that game sound really cool when you put it up, and then a couple weeks later you're like, yeah, maybe I was drunk when I wrote that, or something like that?
I've
After
axed a
that-
game while it's still in the advertising phase. Like, it didn't get any interest, and then I realized maybe this idea is a bit too niche. Like, it's only for a very specific set of people, and those people were not on the Weave, so, I axed the game before it even started.
Well, and as a correlate too, if the game is dying because you're not personally interested, it might just be more that instead of rebooting the game, you just need to find a new GM to take over for you.
Hey, the GM Rescue Society works for games regardless of what phase they're in, so
Yep.
great resource. Check it out.
I had a game probably within the last year that I handed off. I just wasn't feeling it. I was running a pretty fun Shadowrun game, but I handed it off to Miss, because she was a player,
Oh.
and she's like,
I
it was a
love
great
Miss.
concept, but I've just realized I don't think I could run Shadowrun play by post.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
This is
Shadowrun
a-
in general seems to be
Well,
a bit
this
of a
was-
fight and play by post from what I've seen.
Wow, and it was even Anarchy, which is the simpler rule set, but still.
Mhm.
Just-
If
Anyway,
if you're
that's the
gonna
side.
hand a Shadowrun game off to somebody, though, Miss is a really
Miss is
great
the person
person to do
to
it.
Doing
Well,
And
I
I'm
was
sure
like,
they're gonna
you know what,
thank
I think
both
it's
of you
time to
so
archive
much
and
for that plug.
Well, and she asked me, like, do you mind if I just run it? And I'm like, go ahead. So if you've established why to do it, when do you do it?
Well, there's good times and bad times, but like most things on the Weave, things tend to come and go in seasons. If you are deciding that, hey, I've got 2 weeks now because it's Christmas vacation between terms, or I got a little bit of vacation here, I'm between gigs and my contracting, and I'm gonna restart this game because it was awesome. Don't do it. Just don't.
They seem like good times, but they're not. The reason they seem like good times is that you have free time. So does everybody else.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't want to spend their free time.
It's weird because you want
It's
to
bizarre.
like you have these free time areas where you are like, oh, I have time to run a game now, but really probably the best time to start a game or restart a game is when you're at your busiest, because it only gets easier if you suddenly have that gap.
Right.
So you want to start it while you're doing work, while you're doing school, and then okay, well, I can do all these real life things in addition to the game, and now when I have 3 weeks of free time, now it's awesome. So
Yeah.
Right.
That
I
being
mean,
said,
basically, if you restart when you're at max load, you know you can handle it.
mhm.
And I would guess that's probably why a lot of games fail. Is when things get busy, you just can't handle the bandwidth.
and
That said, those 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever of holiday are a good time to plan.
Yep.
Yes.
Don't start the game. But hey,
But
if you're
prep it.
feeling it and you want to do it for sure, yeah, planning it out is a fantastic time to do that.
That's a great
and it's
idea.
a great time to make sure that the group is ready to proceed. Where you go ask them, hey, I'm looking at rebooting this game a couple weeks from now. Do you guys want to still play? Because
Yep.
if the answer is, yeah, sure, we're all in, great. If the answer is 3/4 of us are in and one of us is like, nah, man, I'm not down for that. Maybe you just need to recruit one more new player.
And that gap time is a great time to write up a new ad.
Mm-hmm.
See episodes something or other for advice and writing up ads.
Yep.
I'll get those.
Link
One
that
second.
one too. Yep. The other time not to do it, and I'm falling victim to this one right now, Logan, is right when you get back from that busy thing that you were doing that kept you away from the site. You gotta give yourself time to work back into it. You can't just take up your load and be like, I'm gonna be back to 8-10 posts a day.
Nope.
Didn't happen.
What's the old saying? I need a vacation for my vacation.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's totally true. Especially if the reason you were gone was conventions.
Oh.
You gotta schedule at least another half a week for being sick.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphinus.
And to get down from the RPG high that you were on going through convention season.
Yep. Well, I found if I don't drink as much and I get proper sleep, I don't get near as sick after cons.
That's amazing.
The older I get, the more I'm like, no, I don't think I want to go start a game at 2 a.m.
Anyone watching us right now from Gen Con?
Oh, is that this weekend?
That
Yeah,
is
it
this
is.
weekend.
Apparently, Basil Bottletop and Dolphinus have been torturing Fate with pictures of them hanging out.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Which, in my opinion, is great because it means they're not torturing me with those pictures.
It'll happen. Basil's in
Every
one of your
year.
games, right?
He's in, yep,
Yeah.
2 of them actually.
In that game that you didn't let me play in.
Oh, wine. You're helping co-GM that one unofficially.
Okay, yeah. I'm ready to torture some players anytime.
So,
Yeah,
getting back on topic,
so we've talked about why to do it and when
So-
to do it.
with the how, because we'd already started going into you might need to recruit a player.
Right.
You're especially going to run into that if the game's just kind of stalling. This can be a great thing. Get a ringer. Eric, no one likes you.
S'mores pie and Blackbeard's breakfast. Oh yeah.
So it can
A real
help.
champion, you'd put the ice cream in the beer.
He's got a
Beer
point.
float.
This is chocolate pudding with bruleed marshmallows on top and graham
Oh,
crackers in the
Yeah, it
bottom.
wouldn't mix in. So
Wow.
a ringer, at least what we're calling a ringer, is if you're having some pacing issues, you need someone to help kind of drag the
the-
party back into things. You go for that player that's active. You know they're active, they're constantly posting. They never seem to log off of the Discord chat. Fate
So
and
I would-
Sarah Cock.
I do want to jump in here real quick. The only episode we ever talked about advertisements was
Yeah?
episode 0.
What?
Yep.
That's
Wait, what?
impossible.
I
No.
vividly remember doing a thing on ads.
Hey, Spill Trosby, thank you for the follow. So we have talked about really good ads multiple times, but we've never actually had a episode topic be game advertisements.
Oh, that
Season
can't be
4,
right.
episode 1. Mark your calendars now.
Yeah, really.
really?
No,
Yeah.
seriously. The only I've looked through every description of every episode, and the only episode we ever actually talked about like creating an advertisement was episode 0.
Yep, we're gonna be revisiting things because no one should have to listen to episode 0.
Yeah,
I won't
please
listen
don't
to
listen to
episode
episode 0.
Anything
Wait.
but that.
That seems like something we should just offer as a Patreon extra.
0. No, we want them to stay patrons.
That's something that we put on people that we've asked to leave. Here's a parting gift.
So, slight tangent. episode 0 was when an hour before this happened, because it started as Nathan going, hey, let's just have a live chat with the community on Discord. It'll be great. We said, sure. Why not? We can do that. And I swear to God, an hour before, Nathan goes, hey, we're doing a podcast. Well, all of us, come again. Podcast. What do you mean we're doing a podcast? We're doing a podcast. So I
I've
was
set it up
late
live.
because it was, we're just gonna sit back, shoot the shit with the community. It'll be great. Nope, podcast. And the audio. The audio was wonky. None of us really understood OBS at all yet. So what you wound up with was Nathan talking, and the rest of us were talking, but you couldn't hear us.
Only Nathan could hear you.
So Nathan would
Oh,
talk, and then we would talk, and then Nathan would tell everyone what we said. It was bound to come out eventually, Nathan.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about
no, let
how.
us revel in this more.
No, let's talk about how we restart a stalled game.
There are a lot of facets of restarting a stalled game that are kind of like starting a new game. I mean, you really need to take a fresh look at what you're trying to get out of the game. What is going to make you personally, the GM, want to come back and keep posting? What's going to make your players want to come back and keep posting? You've got to re-entice people to want to love the game. So if you're not hooking them in, it's going to fall flat.
Right. When you take that fresh look, I mean, try to figure out why did it stall in the first place. Was the hook not interesting enough? Were you not clear enough in your concept? Was the thing kind of muddied? Were the rules a little off? I mean, it's a
Did you
really
start
good
the
time
game
to
in a
take-
tavern?
Did you pick the
Hey
wrong
now,
players?
I will fight you over Tevin.
Taverns
true.
are
Did you-
awesome.
Yep.
But did you
Actually,
pick
that's
the wrong
where-
players? I mean, did you think that you had the best group, but it turns out they just didn't gel at all? Or two guys were button heads first thing in the game, and then they both rage quit. You're like, oh, there went like a third of my group. What am I gonna do?
Right.
Now, you can also, like, once you finally do get to the point where you're actually restarting the game and you start moving things forward again, something that could really help is doing, like, a very short-term goal. Like, okay, go here, do X, and it's only going to take, like, maybe a week worth of posts to get to X, whatever X is. You want to give something quick and easy that will get people hooked back into the game and back into the rhythm of posting, and giving them a very short-term goal that they can complete very quickly will help hook them in.
Yeah, in the project management world, we call those quick wins, things where you can say, look, we succeeded, and give motivation to keep moving on.
Yep.
The other thing is, did you stall in the middle of action?
Oh,
Yeah, that's a bad
Because
one.
I've had that happen more than once. If that happens, the best thing to do, I think, is to simply kind of narrate the finish of that action. Give the PCs a win, point them directly to another clue, and get going. Conversely, if you stalled because of inaction, because people were just dithering or there wasn't any clear action, send in the ninjas.
mm-hmm. No,
And by
no tavern is complete without a set of orcs barging
Right, or
into the
some-
front door and
and by
pointing at someone saying, "Grah!"
By sending
Those
the
are some
ninjas,
articulate ones.
I mean, I really mean, throw mooks up against the party with a very obvious clue as to where to go. Yep, Chandler's Law. Yeah. The closer
Refresh
you
me?
get to the truth, the more leg breakers they'll send at you. Yeah, and ninjas
Logan
can be-
Logan is calling us out. He says, "Are your combats boring?"
No!
I mean, If a game has stalled because of combat, probably.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I played D&D for many, many years. It's very easy to fall into the trap of I swing my sword, I roll d20, I hit, I miss, I move on. I cast my spell, it succeeds or fails, I move on. That's not a good story. You're never going to read a novel where the whole chapter on a fight is swing, miss, swing, miss, swing, hit, swing, miss, swing, miss, swing,
Right.
hit. So make it interesting. Find those elements that draw out the characters in the combat,
Now,
not
and if
just the
you-
die roll.
If you did slow during combat, it may also not be your fault. It could have just been one or two players stop posting. And if you're running in a game like D&D where everybody needs to take the turns, that can
Right.
kill it right there.
See our episode on combat pacing.
Yes.
And
That
on
was a good episode,
using
too.
Discord for an out of character channel.
Yep.
Yes. Prompting people in a way that annoys them and makes them want to post more frequently.
Yeah, generally it's less here about figuring out like how to make combats more interesting. Just that if it stalled during a combat, the first thing you have to do is just resolve that combat as quickly and easily as possible.
Yeah, get you out of there. The next thing you got to do is have a plan for what you do right after your quick win, because the player's energy level is going to be up. They're going to want to be ready to go. If you don't have a plan for what comes next, then you just stalled the game again, because now they're waiting for you to come up with the next thing to do. Never be in the position where you don't know what happens next, and especially when you're restarting a game and you need that momentum to build.
So either plan a lot during a couple weeks of holiday or get really good at winging it.
Right.
This is particularly a warning to those of you who, like me, are a sandbox type GM.
Ooh,
It can
yes.
be easy to fall back on that crutch of, well, I'll just wing it. And when that idea doesn't come to you, and you've got a whole crew of players just staring through the Ethernet at you, saying, "Tell us what to do."
Ew.
Those eyes, they're just boring through your brain. They're looking for ideas, and you've got nothing.
That's what
Right.
alcohol is for.
I had that happen to me at my IRL game this past
Oh.
weekend.
Dang.
Because I had one path planned out, and of course they went the other path, so I had to improvise. And actually, it's really funny. In IRL games, when that happens, that's a great time for a bathroom break.
Yep.
Mhm. Pardon me while I take the monster manual into the bathroom with me.
Yeah, really.
There was a reason during the 3.5 era when you could get a lot of books for cheap. I just kept a copy of the Monster Manual in the bathroom. Like, I had the bathroom copy of the Monster Manual and the DMG. It just stayed in there.
Nice.
Oh, look at the good boy.
Logan
Go
points
see
out
now.
Colin has an awesome plan for the Mythweavers potluck game. It's written in pencil.
That is a different level of
That
weird.
is single-handedly the most beautiful document I've ever seen.
It's amazing. I mean, I look forward to co-GMing this thing just so I can revel in its 8th grade glory. Because I
Yes.
have campaigns up on my wall right over here that are written in the same era. I
Mhm.
hesitate to pull them out.
Oh yeah, I've got a binder over here
I-
of all my old campaigns.
I definitely stopped and
Oh, look
Love
at 8 with his binders full of campaigns.
moment of clarity. Unspeakable. It's a good
Somebody
boy.
got it.
Nels is not a girl.
Okay, so one last thing I think we should probably talk about is you need to have a backup plan. So you can go into restarting a game with the best of intentions. You can recruit new people, you can do a short quick win, you can plan for what happens next, and the game stalls again. So you got to have a
Or
backup
doesn't
plan.
even get off the ground with the
Right.
restart attempt.
Right. Or you don't even get that far. So you got to have a backup plan, also known as an exit strategy, which is at that point, maybe you should consider gracefully shutting down the game, which we've done an episode on.
Right. And it's one of those where you have to be upfront with the group as you're starting the reboot process. Like, look, we're going to give this a try. here's my plan. Here's the goal. If it doesn't work, hey, no harm, no foul. Let's go find some other games to play in together and have fun.
Mhm.
That would be
Nothing personal.
Season 1, Episode 4, for anyone curious.
Wait, which
It
topic was that?
disturbs
For-
me how quickly you're just whipping that knowledge out.
For leaving and ending games.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wow, that doesn't seem
It
like
is
it was that
worth
long
noting that, when we talk about this stuff, it's because we have had games stall a lot. We have either from losing players or because we had a really, really bad moment as a game master and stalled it through our fault.
ago. Mm-hmm.
So,
Just one sec. How Lewin B, thank you for the follow. It's appreciated. And the only way I'm able to find this information so quickly is the find command.
Oh,
Control F for the win.
Yes.
that sounds
Yep.
like cheating.
Alt Control F if you're in InDesign and need to find and replace.
Good to know.
Tiff, are you confusing us with people who have original ideas? We're so self-referential. We make Stargate look like brand new,
I mean,
daytime Emmy-worthy soap operas.
you're
wait,
not
no,
there
wrong.
are no daytime
We
Emmy-worthy
make
soap
we
operas.
make Hercules look like a time winning up.
Speak-
So-
So just before we move on here, I do want to ask: do you guys have any suggestions on how to, like, have that backup plan? Like, what do you do if it doesn't work out?
I'm going to fall back again on communication. It's our preaching theme here, and we're going to preach it.
Nuke the
So
site
I
from
have-
orbit.
Come on.
Generally, I like to failure-proof my games. Most of the games I've advertised for, and I don't tend to open up adverts all that often, have many multiple applicants. And one of the things I do is I save every application, and I will tell people when I'm picking my players, your first in line is a backup. If somebody drops, I'm bringing you in, and so on down the line. So having extra players just to pop in case players drop has helped probably in 60-70% of the times. In cases where the game was just a dud or stuff like that, if there's a couple good players who are active and I'll just PM and say, look, this game isn't going well, but I'd really like to have you in my next game. And try and kind of integrate them there. Yeah, for the most part, like Eric, communication. There's a reason I have my own Discord channels.
I will say, I'm the poster child for refusing to let a game die. I started with that number game, I think, until I snagged a couple people that just won't stop talking. I tried, and they can't stop.
Yeah, you add in those ringers, keep it going until you have
Until I got those, I think I went through easily 150% turnover in that game over about a year.
Wow.
Yeah, it
I got
happens.
replacement players and lost the replacement players.
So I want
'Cause
to talk about this real quick because we have a few extra minutes. We're not running up against a time wall or anything at the moment. But Logan brings up at some point we might talk about how to restart a game. Basically, where a game that is completely dead, and then you just restart it from the beginning. That to me it seems like that's just as simple as like writing up a new advertisement and starting as if you're starting a brand new game, right?
Well,
Or is
no.
there
first
more-
First step, contact all the old players. See who still wants in.
Yep.
Because they already have characters made and they know what the game's about, and you obviously like them the first time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
Try to get as many of the old players on board as you can.
Ocean's 12.
The secret, clearly, is know how to be strategically lazy as a master. Get those old players back with their pre-made characters.
Yep.
With their pre-made
And then-
ideas, because they're pushing the campaign just as much as you are.
And I'm going to be honest, if you can't get at least one or two of your old players interested again, it may just be time to let it go.
Absolutely agree.
Now,
That or just start completely fresh.
have
Copy paste all your old material, start a new game with a new forum, re-advertise.
have you guys ever had a player petition you to reopen a game?
Yeah, once in a
Yeah.
while.
Once a month at least. His
Yeah,
name is
actually-
Basil Bottletop. He won't shut up about it.
Actually, Tiff will often ask about Claremont. Not once a month.
That's how you know it was a good game, is if it was memorable for people.
Oh god, it went for like 9 years or something.
Hmm.
Well, memorable, or you have that player that goes, hey, you ran some sci-fi thing like 5-6 years ago. Don't remember what it was called, yada yada. You should run that again. Which sci-fi one?
That's
had
how you know
that.
you've been on the site a long time.
Yep,
Way
had that.
too long.
Yeah, I was hypothesizing for if we needed filler material, we could swap manly stories about our experiences on the site and being staff.
Mythweaver's site staff, the only place where you're gonna go to have fun and it's just gonna drive you to raging alcoholism.
Oh, I
No.
can blame you guys?
No,
I didn't
No,
know I
it's-
could blame you guys.
Just tell your therapist.
no.
My fallback is, I was just a happy little player. And Rodrigo tricked me.
That is not true.
That is absolutely true.
That is not true.
I
Rodrigo
followed an
doesn't
advertisement
disagree
link
with
for,
that.
for staff. They said they needed moderators.
I'm
That's
not
how
sure
they
if
get
that's
ya.
how I got involved, or...
That's how Eric and I got on, and then Rodrigo tricked me and threw admin. Eric was wise.
I don't even remember anymore how I became a moderator.
It just
Lost in the sands
happened.
of time.
Yes.
All right. Let's save this for the
My
free for all.
fans through the hourglass.
Oh,
All
no.
right.
Now we've
Uh,
had 2 soap opera references in one episode. It's
Oh
time to
my.
move on.
Okay. Just gonna say, Hope should not have married Thomas. All right, we're moving on now. Okay.
No, I vehemently disagree.
Okay, moving on, children.
All right. Do we want to take a quick 5-minute
Hey,
break?
Dad.
I need to use the restroom.
Oh,
Go use
So-
the ret.
Yeah.
5-minute break.
So, my doctor has had me on this regimen. He said, go to the supermarket, buy the biggest thermos you can find, and fill it with water and drink it every day. So,
Oh, were you not have enough water?
I mean, I was drinking about 1 liter every day, but he said like triple it. So,
Yeah, pretty much. At least double.
yeah.
Triple's
so,
probably better.
Yeah. So, yeah, I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you learn to be a camel after you have issues like that.
Yeah. I know,
No,
these
we don't
wireless
need an
mics
episode
are-
of Naked Gun.
The wireless mics are glorious.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're great.
But not when Nathan goes to the bathroom. We don't need to have Leslie Nielsen.
I was
If
thinking-
Nathan had a mute button like we all do on our Arctis 7 headsets.
Well, Nathan just needs to do a favor for you so that Arctis 7 shows up on his doorstep someday.
No, see, it's reverse. I've been doing stuff for Nathan. Speaking of, I wonder if that desk is built yet. I did engineerings with wood, which I really don't like doing because, well, it's wood and it never does what you want according to the blueprint.
No, you cannot make square cuts. It's just not going to happen.
You cannot make square cuts. Getting that hole precise, what? No.
Amateurs.
Look, when you're dealing with non-precision woods like pressure-treated lumber, sometimes you just got to wing it.
Amateurs.
Hey, look, there's 17 viewers. Live!
Oh my god, those poor viewers. What were they thinking?
Nah,
Oh, we're gonna watch these guys tonight. Oh, Whoops.
Quality content.
Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like some kind of torture to have to watch this show.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum. Why do we always come here?
I guess we'll never know.
It's like a kind of torture.
You
sit
have
and
to watch the show. Dum bum 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 ba dum ba dum bum.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're showing our age.
No, in college I dyed my hair multiple colors. I used to wear a square hat, and everybody used to just call me Dr. Teeth.
Mm-hmm. Logan points out, notice how everyone showed up after 8:30. They're like, what, you're halfway through the episode already? No.
That's true. We've kind of set expectations at this point.
Yeah, our expectations are we notify you of an episode 3 hours in advance. Now we start a half hour after the advertised time.
Hey, we're on Mythweaver's time.
We're in a fantasy land where we make up the time.
Oh, Eric, any of your kids been watching the new She-Ra?
No, they haven't.
Oh, it's good.
Mm.
My niece and I jammed through that this weekend.
I have returned. Everyone can stop panicking.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman. I did want to ask you about those good times and bad times, Eric. Have you had your share of those?
Well, we've almost got my father-in-law's house sold now. Almost. But let
You
me
in
tell
escrow?
you, don't get involved in real estate in New Jersey. Just don't.
Oh,
Keep
God,
that in mind. I mean, the most we're looking at is a special assessment, again. For the stupid fire escapes.
No, this
Good
is...
news is, this one's less than a new car.
Wait, fire escapes. Your house is what? 2 stories?
Our building's 3 stories. It's a condo, not a house.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can survive off of the 3rd story. Ish. We
Yeah,
drop.
outside that second window behind me. Actually, no, it's in the kitchen. There's a window that swings out in the kitchen over the sink, where you get out through the fire escape. The problem is we're in a historic building, so everything is just stupid dumb. And anytime they have to futz with the siding, they have to do lead protocols.
Yeah, with New Jersey, it's basically... Never seen this before. It's like you sign the contract, and then lawyers get involved on both sides, and then renegotiate the entire contract. And
I mean, you said New Jersey.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, that's some of the rest of the
That's a
place.
fish tank.
Yeah, I've got 2.
Fishies.
Here, fishy, 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 fishy.
I
Got,
keep wanting to get a jellyfish tank for Kraken. It just seems appropriate.
They're stupid expensive and hard to maintain. Jellyfish need a constant circulating current.
Yeah.
When the Oregon Coast Aquarium put in their tanks, they had to make the bottoms rounded and do a swirling current through it.
There's actually been some jellyfish tanks that aren't stupid expensive that are actually purpose designed for the miniature jellyfish.
Yeah, I do killifish and licorice gouramis in the big tank, and the small one's got one of my betas. But I go with wild betas, not the overbred ones.
All right, are we ready for me to talk for 7 to 8 minutes straight?
Are you
No.
ready to talk for 7 to 8 minutes straight? We can break it up.
Nope, it's good. All right, let's do this.
Hey,
Clean
Nate,
those kidneys.
I tweaked the announcement slightly. Just took out a word.
Oh, yeah. You
Okay.
don't want
It
to
matters. It was by
predispose things.
request at who's doing the planning.
Okay. Ruben. All right. Tonight's
Didn't even put 'em
highlighted
up.
game of the episode is The Dream of Forever, which I'm going to put on the screen right now very fluidly with no problems. Yes, it worked! Yes!
Amazing.
Ooh, technology.
All right.
OBS has now become Streamlabs OBS. Dum boom 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 boom.
So, The Dream of Forever is a vampire masquerade game GM'd by Krasnopolka. I hope I said that right. Please don't. I'm really bad at names, but I think I got close.
Krasnopolka.
Yeah.
Krasnopolka.
The Dream of Forever is a game set in 705 AD, where the players begin as a mortal, and Krasnopolka has stated that in the first act of the game, the players will be embraced. The character should be, for the time period, an average person. Krasnopolka has gone to the trouble of making a historical summary that will catch up anyone interested in playing on the events leading up to the game and time period. Of note, this game is Krasnopolka's first foray into play-by-post. I just want to take a moment and say this ad is awesome for someone's
It's amazing.
first ad on
Oh yeah,
Mythweavers.
no, it's
Yeah.
this is really solid. Somebody, hey,
Very
maybe
good
they
job.
watched our episode on doing game ads.
Yeah,
Who-
perhaps.
here's
But
hoping.
he's 229 posts in, and he put together this gem.
Yep.
It's
So I
awesome.
I can't think of a better way to jumpstart their game than by submitting an application. If I had the time, I would definitely be throwing in an
I'm
application.
actually probably gonna throw one up.
Also, I
I'm
personally
surprised.
love the Rasputin avatar pick. That's a great choice.
I'm just surprised he's not using Dark Ages.
So actually, he is. So some of the material from the older Dark Ages books are allowed. He just wants you to talk to him about it first.
yeah. Did they
Or that or V20, because V20 also had the Dark Ages rules.
Yeah, but if you want to use New World of Darkness, you don't
So,
have Dark Ages available yet.
If I may take a moment, I will read directly from the advertisement. With some material of the older Dark Ages books being allowed, if you discuss with me what you want. So he is allowing some of the older Dark Ages stuff, and V20 may also be used. Again, hit me up so I can judge. So, anyway, Krasnopolka is looking for 5 players, and the deadline for applications is August 7th. So there's not a lot of time left to get in an application. You definitely want to jump on that as soon as possible. So please, I would ask that all of our viewers help join the Weaving Myths crew in welcoming Krasnopolka to the site and wishing them all the best with their game.
And I will note they have 18 applications so far, so trust me.
Yeah.
Just a
You're-
wee bit
you're
of
being forced.
competition.
Nah,
Yeah, this-
I could rip out a Dark Ages Tremere easy.
Tremere. No, Venture. Sorry.
Nah, Thaumaturgy, man.
Yep.
Honor.
So I do want to throw out there. I know that a first-time Mythweavers DM can be a little. Some people might be a little anxious about applying for a game with that, but I do want to point out that Krasnopolka has done storytelling for Vampire and DMing before, so it's not his first rodeo.
And I'm still running my first play-by-post game, still open here on the Weave.
Uh,
11
Speaking
years.
of stubborn persistence.
11
well, you
years
know,
now.
Claremont got close to you, and that's been gone for ages.
hmm
All right.
Thank
so
you,
now
Zipser. You've been a gem.
I teased this a
Yes.
little bit earlier, but it's announcements time. So before we head,
Announcements.
so
Did
before we
ring
head
the
into
school bell?
oh god.
Oh no, that's the church. It's 6 o'clock. It's a church bell.
I was just saying you ring the school bell before the daily announcements.
Oh no, the church bells outside are actually ringing right now.
Convenient.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Nate.
Nathan. We did
That's
break
okay.
up your 7 minutes.
That's all right. I needed the breather. Okay, so before we head into the free-for-all, there are some exciting announcements to make. First of all, we are hard at work preparing for another contest on Mythweavers. If you participated in the first contest, you know there was awesome prizes, including signed Jim Butcher books. So we're looking at doing another contest. So I hope your pen is itching, because if so, this contest is going to be one to keep an eye on. Stay tuned for an announcement from our Crack Contests team, made up of Amy and Cleo. And another thank you, as always, to our patrons whose support helps us offer some amazing prizes. More details are forthcoming on that. We don't have a start or end date, and we don't have prizes information yet, but it is coming.
And we're still not eligible.
Correct.
No,
Yeah, we're
staff
still
is
not eligible.
Staff cannot participate.
It
I
is
really
worth
wanted some of
noting.
those signed Jim Butcher books.
It is worth
Um,
noting. This
go
will
ahead.
not be a writing contest.
Yes.
That is all I will say, but it will not be a writing contest.
Writing may
So-
be involved, but it's not the primary.
I think I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before on previous episodes, but the Weaving Myths Patreon recently had an overhaul of some of their tier rewards. So if anybody has been a patron for a while and hasn't checked it recently, they should definitely check it, see what new rewards you're eligible for, and if you're thinking about signing up for the Patreon, definitely take a look. They're really cool. They will help you with your play-by-post games, both characters and games, so definitely take a look at those.
If you still have not received your copy of Lady Night, make sure to ping Nathan incessantly about that.
Yes, please do, because I know I have a couple copies hanging around my house that I know I need to send out. I just don't remember who. So I gotta investigate, and if you ping me, please do, because
And he's got to clean out his house before he moves. So
yeah. So I'm moving at the end of the month, so I gotta send this stuff.
Nate, what's our top tier now?
Our top tier is Weaving Myths Grok's Choice. Let me pull up the actual reward for the top tier at the moment. So, for signing up at the highest tier, which is $25 or more per month, this is Mythweaver Grok's Choice, you get all of the rewards from previous tiers, which includes a monthly character review, which I will take your character and run it through my infamous rubric to see if it's up to par. And honestly, you could do with that review anything you want. Like, I'm just gonna run it through my rubric. I'm gonna give you some of my thoughts on the character, and you could do whatever you want with that information. The other big reward is a game review. So if you're looking at starting a new game on Mythweavers and you want some criticism or some advice on like what the game ad looks like, if you need help setting up the game forum, or if you want, like, hey, is this idea even feasible on Mythweavers? Like, does this system do well? I'll go through all of that with you, and that's.
And you know what, Nate? I'd be happy to do that as well.
Yep. So if that'd be fine. Either me or Ruben, either of us would be able to do that for you. At Grok's Choice, that becomes a monthly service, so you can run it by us every month, or one game every month, and we'll take a look at it and go through it with you.
or
And
the same
then
game multiple times.
what's that?
Doesn't have to be a new game every month. It could be the same game multiple times if you
Right.
are just that inconsistent or bullheaded or whatever.
Sure.
What
Want
have
to
you?
torture Nathan a
Sure.
lot.
So like, no, that makes sense though. If you want to get a review and then make changes and then get another review for the same game, that's totally cool too. And then the last benefit that you will, well, actually, there's a bunch of benefits you'll get. So you get the character and game review as a monthly service at the top tier. You get a shout out at the end or towards the end of every Weaving Myths episode. I am in the process of putting together like a behind the scenes type thing for Weaving Myths. So like walking through the programs I use to actually make the show. So I'm still in the planning stages for that, but I am working on it. And you also, if you suggest a topic for a show, we'll give that a little bit more consideration when we're trying to decide on what to talk about.
People actually need to take advantage of that one because we'd like more material.
Yeah, definitely. Seriously, if there are patrons or viewers out there, then
We're always
definitely
looking for new topics.
yeah, then definitely let
topics.
us know. So there's a suggestion box down below the stream that you can put suggestions into, or you can post on Patreon. You can contact us on Discord. You can contact us through Facebook or YouTube. I mean, just
Or
pick
on
one.
mythweavers.com.
Yeah, or on Mythweavers. I mean, there's so many ways to get in touch with us. So if you have suggestions or questions or anything like that, definitely throw them at us. So let's see. Game review, character review, you get a shout out. Oh, and then the big be-all end-all prize is so I don't know, most of our viewers should know this, but I am a self-published author. I will send you a signed copy of my first novel if you sign up at the highest tier on the Patreon.
You know what you should add to that, Nate?
Hmm.
That I'd be willing to donate? Layout or cartography.
Whoa.
Once a month.
Okay.
Within reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a big ask.
You're gonna have to define reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very, very in depth with lawyers.
I would help somebody do like a battle map.
Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
See stores for details.
Think
Basically,
of it more like consultation.
yeah, basically subject to Ruben's approval.
Yeah.
Sketches.
May cost you multiple months worth of credit.
Sure. So okay, so that's the second announcement. We still got a couple more to go through here.
Dang.
I'm sorry, there are things happening.
We should not have episodes for 2 months.
I know. Okay, there are things happening. Okay, so this next one, Weaving Myths has been going on for over 2 years. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
No.
We've been here at
2
least, so
years?
yes.
Okay, so yeah, May of 2017 is when we started this.
I jumped in episode 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought that was kind of cool. I would be open to doing like a celebration of sorts, but I don't have any ideas as to what we should do.
The cake is a lie.
The
But
cake
yeah,
should be pie.
if any patrons or viewers have any suggestions of how we should celebrate that, I'm open to suggestions.
Yes, potluck at Colin's house.
No.
GPS coordinates to follow.
And then I have to explain that, my wife didn't mean to kill all those people.
It just kind of happened.
Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, again, the suggestion box down below, Twitch, Mythweavers, Patreon, YouTube, all the ways to contact us. Let us know if you have any ideas for how we should celebrate doing this podcast for 2 years.
We should just do a live after dark.
Oh God.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
No, we cannot do a live app.
I would like to not
Well,
get
I mean-
banned from Twitch.
It violates
Rephrase-
too many site rules and Twitch rules and YouTube rules and just good taste. Well, not so much good taste, but that's
Good taste is
subjective.
what's lacking.
Okay.
We never had taste at the beginning.
So I just have 2 more announcements and then I'll shut up. I promise. Well, sort of.
Oh, you were serious?
Sorry.
Okay, 2 more announcements. So in the future, starting with the next Weaving Myths episode, which is to be decided as to when that's going to happen, but the episode is going to be streamed on both Twitch and YouTube going forward. So that way, it's just a convenience thing. So people on YouTube can find us and people on Twitch can find us. So no matter which platform you prefer, you'll be able to watch live.
Live.
Yep. So that's a relatively small one.
From New York, it's Saturday night. Sorry, I had to say that.
Nate Hart's Ming. Yes, you can watch on both at the same time if you would like. I don't know how the delay is gonna mess with the audio. It might be a little weird, but yes, you could watch on both.
Oh man, I thought that was actually you, Nate. TwitchTube.
Okay, and now the announcement you have all been waiting for.
Dun,
Or at least
dun,
I
dun.
expect everybody's been waiting for this announcement. The Better Halves episode of Weaving Myths, the goal for that was met. So we are going to be organizing a Weaving Myths episode that will only be available for patrons, that will be featuring the spouses of our regular cast. So my wife, Ruben's wife, maybe Colin's wife, Eric's wife, and possibly
Oh no, Jen's totally in.
okay, and possibly Amy's husband. So yeah,
And I have
that
to say, the editors are going to have to work overtime for Jen, because she's not as good at limiting her language as I am.
It's gonna be the David episode all over again.
Oh, I'm not sure. Well, no. We put Jen on. I'm still working on Gem. See if she'll do it.
So
We put Jen and Jem together.
Yeah,
Maybe
Merlana
Monday
is
about this.
definitely down for it, though. She'd be the off-screen person, I think. She's got this camera thing, so.
so
Jen actually games all the time, so
So more details on that are forthcoming, but for the moment, just know that we're working on it. It's probably going to be later this year. I'm not sure when exactly.
We're still working on timing.
Yeah.
I mean, Amy is still trying to, beat her husband into submission to do it, I guess.
Arm twisting,
So-
I think, is involved.
Arm twisting. I think the part where he was told that it would be a bunch of wives and him does not help his.
No, it really doesn't.
So.
But I mean, our wives are kind of awesome, so.
Yeah, and all of them
True.
are, yeah.
no kinda about it. They're just awesome.
Hey,
All right.
I think
Hammer
the four
Fist
of us
says
are more of
Amy
the.
can do the,
I think we're the
Espanol
kinda.
broadcast for us. You know,
Oh,
just
Jem can
so we
do
have
that,
multilingual.
All right, we've got about 20 minutes for the free-for-all, so we're going to jump right into that.
Yes.
In this segment of the show, we're going to open the floor for questions and answers, but we're also going to allow myself and fellow casters to talk about anything we'd like. I believe we're going to be revisiting the staff stories at some point. As always, this is going to be pretty unstructured, but it gives us the freedom to talk about other things and still answer questions as they come in. So if you have questions, please put them in the text chat and we will answer them. But before we get started, we have the mandatory question. What's making us happy this week? We're going to start with Colin because he's the only one that didn't fill out the document.
Oh, punishment!
Document. Why would I do that? What's making me happy? I might have a job. I find out Monday or Tuesday, but I'll take the might. So
Hey, that's a good
more
start.
progress than I've had
Better than
recently.
nothing.
All right, Eric.
Okay, mine comes with audio.
Uh-oh. Oh, jeez.
Make it
It's
stop.
just showed up from the
Nice.
Kickstarter. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
It comes with their custom 3D minis.
Oh, that's so
yeah,
cool.
all the majesty. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Oh yeah.
All right, and Ruben.
Well, I'm making salsa. That's always fun.
He can
It's very
see.
neat.
He
Yeah, I
can
know, I can
see.
It was a little painful there at the beginning. Sorry, the script. No, what I'm really excited about is I found out they're putting in a mock sporting house where the old dollar store used to be.
Okay.
So the Magic company Card Kingdom, they do these mock sporting houses, which are like gastropubs, but they're all aligned toward board games and Magic.
I need this in my life.
Yes, and they're putting in one, like a block and a half. Like I could like just juggle my card boxes over there, close.
That's awesome.
They have a full bar, a full tap list, good food, and you can rent
Ruben's
private
wife will
rooms.
never see him again.
Yeah, she will. She'll go with me.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
We'll
It'd be
never
like
see
you saying that
either of them
Merlana
again.
would never see you again, Eric. She'd just go with you. Maybe
Yeah.
sometimes ditch you so she could go.
Truth.
Yeah, so I am so excited about that, and I'm hoping it's going to be in by my birthday, so they can do my 40th birthday there.
Nice.
Youngin.
I know.
Sorry.
You're old, we get it.
Yeah, I am.
So I guess it's my
Trogdor
turn.
was a birthday present, or at least it showed up as a birthday present.
So I guess it's my turn. Really, the only thing that's making me happy is we finally found a house and we are moving at the end of August.
Woo!
Woo!
Yay!
So
You closed?
Not yet. We close on
Not yet.
August 30th. So,
Alright, so you're still in escrow.
yeah. So we're getting there though, but we're moving in the right direction. So, yeah. So that's what's making me happy this week.
Welcome to doing yard work again.
I know, right?
Why do you think I live in a condo? I did yard work for a good 15 years of my life. I don't need to do it anymore.
Yep, so now it is question and answer time. So if you have questions, bring them on. Otherwise, we're just going to talk about stuff. I think we were talking earlier about our staff stories.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
Staff stories.
I can't remember if I actually answered the ad or if I got tapped otherwise.
I was wiki staff first.
Yeah, we
And
need an
then-
editor, so we brought Nate on board.
Well, and I started doing sheet development.
Yeah,
Yep.
you were on Plugsy's team with me.
That's right. Yeah, I'm
Right.
actually the person you could blame for how the Fate sheets are set up and how the Savage World sheets are set up.
Yeah, and if you like,
They were
if you
set up long ago.
if you don't like the older editions of D&D sheets, that's my fault.
We need to give a little love to the 5e sheet too.
So
crap.
Logan, it's not that I don't have to shave, it's that I have to shave very rarely. I only have to shave like once a week.
Beard
Oh,
wasn't
man.
behaving for you.
Yeah, it was too patchy, and yeah, it just didn't work.
It
looked-
happens. I mean,
it looked
genetics
really
are cruel.
Yeah. Really nothing you can do about it.
Angry Dwarf of Doom would like to know, are your wives gamers, or would they be like, y'all are nerds, but we love you? My wife is a gamer. She plays D&D. I DM for a group here locally, and she plays with us.
Yeah, my wife is a gamer. Our first official date, I think, was her first D&D session. She rolled a natural 20 on her first roll.
It didn't
The
say
GM
when
asked,
it mattered.
"Did you mean to kill the guy?" Well, no, I just wanted to let him know that his unwanted, manly 1990s advances on me were not interesting, and so she just managed to impale him through the ear with the javelin instead of killing him.
My wife is a geek. Started dragging her into more the PC gaming and such as well, because that way things can happen like Eric, my wife, and I can play World of Warships without anyone being confused. Because we've learned when you take two Navy vets and put that third person that wasn't in, that third person gets confused a lot.
That's real
Oh,
challenging.
you guys confused me at least a bit. My wife also games. She gamed before I met her. In fact, I think we kind of first met playing Vampire in the 90s. Yeah, she's... The only group she's not in is my Wednesday night D&D group.
Okay, so we have a question. Has the D&D resurgence helped grow the site? Okay, before we get into this, I'm not aware of any resurgence. I know that things like Critical Role has made it more mainstream. So I don't think it ever dropped in popularity. I think it just spiked in popularity.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Well,
Speaking
I'd
as a guy
say-
who works... just works in the industry, I don't know if it actually even spiked. There was way more stuff being done and being hired for in the 3.5 era. I think now it's just a lot more consistent.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily. I'd say, well, like Eric was saying, it is more mainstream. Now I can. So, oh, what do you do in your free time? Oh, I play D&D, and they don't go, oh.
You're one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
That was awkward in high school.
Middle school, high school, college,
Yep.
Yeah.
master
But
verbs in the Navy.
It's worth noting that Pathfinder and D&D 5th edition are equal right now in terms of number of advertisements on the site. So
Yep. Which, for a long time there, Pathfinder was the undisputed king.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yes.
So for 5e
well,
to come in, I mean, for 5e to come in and
5e,
For-
like the 5e books, have actually been hitting like Amazon's top seller lists.
mhm.
Yeah. So, like, for 5e to come in and equal and even sometimes exceed Pathfinder, I think that speaks a lot to, like, it's definitely becoming more of a thing that people know about and accept.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, without getting into Edition Wars, a lot of the Pathfinder crew were former 3.5e players who
Right.
decided they wanted more things to do, different options that weren't being produced because D&D went in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, whenever I show up to run for a Adventurers League night, always new people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing a lot better spread of people too. Yeah,
Well,
Stranger Things help too.
People aren't afraid to admit that they want to try it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That actually, so recently I moved departments at my company, and just kind of getting to know people. It's really interesting how many people you never would really expect to be interested in trying D&D. They're like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I'd really like to try it." It's really awesome to see people getting more and more interested in it.
Well, in my D&D group, we had a player. He's retired.
Mm-hmm.
Started playing with us. Loves it.
Nice.
Actually, a great player too.
Yeah, and Angry Dwarf of Doom points out that things like Game of Thrones have made fantasy less niche.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, there's a bunch: Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones,
Well,
Stranger
Tabletop
Things.
RPGs in general
Right.
have
Yep.
become less of a, oh, you're one of those type.
And I think I may be a little wrong in saying this, but I would be willing to bet that video games have a lot to do with that, because
True.
like they're your role-playing games. Okay, you're just doing a video game thing at a
Right.
table with pen and paper.
Diablo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Diablo is a good example.
not even.
Yep.
I think Skyrim was a real
Mhm.
big
Yep.
push of that.
Oh,
In
yeah.
fact, I've explained D&D in terms of Skyrim.
Yeah, once you've taken a first-person shooter and put it in a fantasy context, it's
Yep.
D&D.
Well, that and I don't think like things like Critical Role can be overstated.
Yeah, Critical Role I think is hands
Right.
down probably the biggest outreach, like the biggest or broadest reach of what D&D can be. So
But
that
I mean,
has
not even
definitely
just
helped.
not even just Critical Role. Just there's so much streaming stuff now.
Yep. Like, I mean, I know off the top of my head there are probably a dozen different like ongoing campaigns that people stream on Twitch and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's insane how many people are just like, "Oh yeah, we're going to stream our D&D campaign."
All right. So,
Logan asks, can Nate and Eric sing the theme song to Neverending Story?
Nope.
Yep.
I could probably do it.
I
I mean,
It's
I
been
can't
too
sing
long.
it all.
It's been too long since I've seen it.
oh, God.
Not ringing any bells, sorry.
Nope. Ruben's over there
So-
nodding his head.
Oh, one we missed. Nate Hart's Ming asks how many years in the Navy. So I was in for 5. Eric was. That's right. It was 5. I was thinking 6.
Nah, it's 5 plus a couple months by the time they got their paperwork act together.
Except Eric was one of those paper pushing officer types, and I was enlisted as any respectable sailor should be.
Well, when they needed engineers, they don't say, "Hey, would you like to accept a 75% pay cut compared to what you could get in the commercial sector to come do our job for us?" No, they bribe you.
Yeah.
Here's the $50,000 signing bonus. Please, 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 please.
So 85 Hawk mentions that in the Marines they played fantasy football, and that turned into a 3 times a week D&D campaign.
I am not
You know,
remotely surprised.
It's
I am
interesting
actually-
how much overlap there is between fantasy football and D&D.
Yeah,
It's
it really is.
interesting how you can get fantasy football types that would never identify as geeks to try it out in the middle of fantasy football season.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like their defenses are lowered. They're doing
guys are
something
frankly
geeky,
amazing.
but they don't want to
Are
admit
you
it.
slipping them the goods?
Frankly, it's amazing how many gamers I've had who've just been ex-military.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I was on board a ship for a midshipman cruise for 4 weeks, and had a D&D group going before we got to midway through.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
surprised
not
at all.
surprised at all. Oh man, one of my former players Jim. He had the best army stories. He was the medic.
I
on
feel
base.
like he had the best army stories as the precursor to we can't tell those stories on here.
No, we really
Oh no,
can't.
there's not a one of them I could tell on here.
Because usually when people go, "Oh, do you have any cool Navy stories?" It's one of those, I really don't. I
No.
definitely can't tell them here, but I don't like telling the random person because they look at me like I'm a monster.
Yeah, I mean he was.
I mean, they're not wrong, but that look, it just hurts somewhere deep where that heart is supposed to be.
Well, you know what? I actually joined my fraternity in college to get into a D&D game.
Oh man.
Fraternity members got priority access to the waiting list, and hey, man, I had to play my bard. Damn it!
What was y'all's first D&D character?
A rogue. I don't remember his name. I'd have to dig. I know I still have the 3rd edition character sheets. Because I was, God, let's see, I was 13 at the time, I think. My uncle got me into it and brought me to his group. Same time he got my cousin at the time was 11, he got her into, and her big gripe to this day is still how much she misses it. Tell her, well, that's your fault for becoming a doctor. Goodbye free time.
Snotspill, Goblin Witch Doctor. I stubbed my toe and died because I had 1 hit point. And the DM was a bastard.
I think my first. I can't remember the class. It's either a fighter or a cleric. It might have been a paladin. It was in 6th grade, so that would have been a long time ago. And one of my buddy's older brothers was the one running the campaign. And he was okay, but I figured I could do it better. And since then, I've pretty much been the GM, so.
Well, my first actual role-playing character was a troll street Sam. Because I started with 1E Shadowrun.
I was gonna say, it almost sounds like you've been doing some Games Workshop stuff.
Nope. Started with 1st edition Shadowrun.
So my first, I'm gonna show my age a little bit here. My first character ever was a AD&D ranger.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Did you
I'm
use
not
any
one
the
of
kits or
I'm not one of those guys who started with like, oh yeah, 1st edition. No, I didn't start till 2nd edition. So
Got my red box still.
red box is good. Do you have the blue box though?
I have the red and the blue and the teal all up right there.
We have those too. We actually have miniature versions sitting somewhere.
Nice.
The little tiny ones.
so I
The
just
only 2nd edition stuff I kept was Planescape.
I've
So
still got
just-
my core 3 books at least. No, I have all of the handbooks. All of the handbooks.
So I just want to run through some of the stories that people are posting in chat right now. So Freya Gandolo says 3.5 Shifter Ranger. Logan
Ooh,
was a
Eberron,
3.5 Dwarf Fighter. Angry Dwarf of Doom was Hammerfist, which was the single worst name I ever came up with for a half-orc monk who died because I thought that the class was useful.
You must have
It's a
played at
trap.
3.5.
Dissident Gamer says 3.5 Wizard. Nate Hartzming started playing at 11, stopped playing for the 8 years in the Navy.
Because
Logan,
of girls. No, you just need to find the girls who play D&D.
Yeah, you gotta have the right girls.
Yeah,
Like
really.
I said, I just went and found a fellow geek.
Let's see. Okay, so Logan says, do you guys know about the Red Hand of Doom curse and how we are trying to break it?
Yeah, I'm actually in a Red Hand of Doom 5e game right now. Going strong.
Okay, so I'm kind of curious. Logan, what is this curse that you're talking about?
I actually know this. So many people have tried to run this module on Mythweavers.
Oh.
Which module?
None of them have finished. Red Hand of Doom. It's a No, it's a
Yeah,
4E.
3.5.
No, 3.5. But late in 3.5 into 4E.
Hmm.
And yeah, like not a single one is actually finished. They always seem to
Interesting.
die. It's like a cursed module.
Okay. Nate Hartming says they started with Redbox. Tiffany Corda says Spelljammer.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
Ah, the GIF. Yeah, like I tried 2 RPGs before I even actually tried D&D.
All right, we got just a few minutes left. If anybody has any last-minute questions, right now is the time to put in your question.
Well, we wait.
In college, I think I was the token guy in the group.
Oh, my wife was definitely the token girl, and so when you're in the dorms, and like 6 guys and a girl go into a room, and people are like, "What?" No, we're just gaming.
Well, I mean that
Oh,
was the
that's what you're
vampire
calling it.
game.
All right,
Vampire Changeling.
we're gonna give it another 30 seconds or so for people to get in their last-minute questions.
I mean, so my wife, when we were in the Navy, my wife was the one female in the gaming group, and she was the scary one.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
no, my wife.
some of the
was-
stuff she did caused a few people to rage quit the game.
Oh no, Jed's not that bad, but my God, you give her a barbarian and she will Hulk smash like nobody's business.
Marlana is the passionate wizard, and she comes up with solutions that no GM will ever expect. And then you're
Oh God,
doomed.
who's the best looking mod?
Rodrigo.
Yeah, hands
Yeah,
down.
Why would you ask such an
Oh.
obvious question? It's obviously me.
You know what we didn't do?
Hey,
You know
hey,
what we
do
didn't do?
We don't have time.
no time for Chicken Rodrigo?
We have
I
time
mean,
for Chicken
Okay,
Rodrigo.
all right.
Make
You
time
got
for
you
Chicken
got
Rodrigo.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Get him up. Get him up.
Get him up.
A
All right,
worst
so
character name for everyone?
Okay,
I
well,
can't
Nate.
say the worst one.
I mean, I named a character Teddy once.
Well, I named a character Killscrew.
All right, is this in the?
Except not Screw.
it's
Alright.
in the Weaving Myths
Killscrew,
staff channel, Nathan.
Soul Crapper.
You should really have it to put it up on
Like-
screen.
Okay,
What's
hang
those
on. I'm
ones?
gonna throw up the website for a second while I find it.
It's not on the website. It's in Discord.
I know. I'm just.
Oh,
I
he's
have to.
fine.
Finding the
hiding.
hyperlink.
I have to
Got
hide
it.
things on Discord. I can't go flipping around.
So, this is us last minute remembering that we've started Where in the World Chicken Rodrigo, or Where in the Worlds is Chicken Rodrigo. So Nathan will get the splash screen up first.
Oh, you know what? One of my players named their paladin Rasmus Hungwell. That was pretty bad.
I had an NPC named Dragus, which, if you looked at the spelling, was more like drag ass. So, yeah, that
Then
was
again,
no good.
one of the most requested and longest recurring NPCs I have in all my games is Honest Bob the Merchant. Because I suck at coming up with names on the fly, and so it was just Honest Bob.
Ishmael and NW Bot. It's complicated.
All right. Let's see here.
And it's worth noting the Where in the Worlds bit that you're about to throw up, Nathan. That is the Rodrigo Chibi being used for the new members guide that some folks are still putting together.
Yep.
Tap tap tap, black screen.
Yep, I know. I'm going as fast as I can. All right, where in the world is Chicken Rodrigo? Who would like to see where Chicken Rodrigo is?
I think it's Gussie. I think eventually Amy's talking about, for harder ones, putting just like some token prize involved.
Alright.
Well, it's an IKEA. There he is, bottom.
Ruben, they
Found
can't
him.
see it yet.
And
Oh.
Ruben, your staff, shut up.
You're not allowed to look.
Uh,
Or if you look, you can't post. If you can't post, you can't talk.
Alright, here we go. Where in the world is Chicken Rodrigo?
I can't believe you sent us that picture.
hey man. I'm a sad man. I will recognize an IKEA immediately.
Yeah, that's pretty much. He's in the Poang.
Sorry, I ruined it.
That's okay.
I
You're fine.
mean, last time we did it, the picture URL had the location as the picture's title. So,
Amy will get better
Alright.
at this game as she goes.
Did
Yes,
everybody
yes.
find Chicken Rodrigo?
we'd say we're sorry, but we're really not.
I'm
If he
so
didn't
sorry.
want us to make fun of the picture, he wouldn't have sent it to us. None of us have been banned yet.
He gave
Okay.
it to me to give to Amy. He knew what would happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
We are not responsible.
Alright, and that's Where in the World is Chicken Rodrigo? Woo! Good job,
You can just-
everybody.
You can just hear Nathan going, "What have I done with my life?"
Okay. Alright, so now I gotta speed read these last couple scripts, because we're running close on time. Alright, I'd like to take just a moment to remind everyone that this episode of Weaving Myths is made possible by our Patreon. Every contribution goes towards making the show better and keeping us running, and we are eternally grateful to all of our patrons. Most recently, our incredibly generous patrons have allowed Weaving Myths to be professionally edited, and we have a brand new logo. If you were here at the start of the show, you likely saw it in the Starting Soon screen. That logo was selected from a handful by our patrons, so if you'd like to be included in future polls, you definitely should sign up. As always, regular Weaving Myths episodes will be available for free, and signing up for the Patreon is never required. Full episodes will always be available for download or streaming free of charge. Now, some thank yous to the extremely generous patrons that have signed up at the Platinum or Greater tier on the Patreon. She who is now a mod and shall not be named, Amanda C, Claire F, Colt, and John D, Maru A, and Yang G. Thank you everyone so much for joining us today. It's been a blast, and we appreciate all of the comments and questions from the text chat. As always, for those of you watching the video recording, please don't forget to take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell on our YouTube. It costs nothing and helps the show grow. I'm Nathan, and I've been joined by that magnificent Colin,
Been fun, folks.
Eric,
Micro Machines.
and Ruben.
God damn it, I was gonna say the micro machines.
Thanks for listening, and keep on weaving those myths.